the wild threads of history, the myriad of paths.
Good evening, welcome, and we're here. We're back. A few days later than expected, but we ran into a few technical things that we had to sort out. I was also due to be off yesterday as well, and Tuesday I took an extra day off in order to sort out some things I was trying to do last weekend and didn't get a chance to do it. So I thought it was best just to start this week's stream on Thursday because it was the first opportunity that I would actually have that would be a clean break and allow us just to stream and enjoy things properly. You'll notice now that there is now chat across all platforms, so no matter where you're watching us, you can now join in the chat. That whole thing has been set up. It took me quite a while to set up. It's like probably one of the most complex things I've had to set up for the stream. And there's tons of complex things, but the chat facility that I'm now using, which does enable all chat to be combined and everyone to see and chat with everyone apart from those on Twitch due to the restrictions put on by Twitch. However, if you do want to be in the Twitch ecoverse, then be on Twitch. But if you want to see everything across all platforms, then you can be on any of the other platforms and you'll see chat across all the other platforms. There's a legal, well, not legal restriction, but there's a rule restriction on Twitch of what I am allowed to put on there and what can't be on there. And they want their chat segregated from everyone else if you do our multi-streaming. So Twitch, your Twitch is only on Twitch. Everyone else can speak to everyone else. So no matter where you are, on what platform, I hope you enjoy the new setup. We are in Dune Awakening today, and tomorrow I'll be in GTA. Because I've done quite a lot of stuff over the week that I had to delay, we are now kind of half free for the weekend in the sense of like stuff that I would have had to put off the weekend. I don't now have to put off for the weekend. However, Sunday still won't be a non-stream day because I still have other stuff that I do need to still do. Other improvements and things I need to do. And I've still got a video to produce on a fix that's meant for Punkbuster, which... not Punkbuster. Battle-Eye. Punkbuster. Punkbuster's another anti-cheat software. But Battle-Eye, that's got a lot of issues. Well, some people are having quite a lot of issues with that. So I am in the middle of actually producing a video on all of the known fixes for that, which is extensively put together by Rockstar Games. They've put it in a document. I'm effectively making a video out of that document and hope to produce or publish it as soon as I've got it finished. The thing is this has actually been a couple of months in progress, and there have been other videos I've made in the meantime because I was just aware how long it was taking me. And for all those people that know me, I won't put a video out unless I'm okay with it. Which means because this is such a long video and there's so many different things to cover, and I need to do it in a way that people understand, because I don't want to create more confusion. I want the video to be very good quality and for people to get a really good understanding about how and what things are that's being explained from a person who's technical, who tries to dumb it down for people that are less technical. So that is obviously a bit of a challenge because there is so much troubleshooting in that document, which I have put a link in other videos where you can go and get that document, but it does take a while to make that video. And I have a day job and other things, and I'm still trying to do the stream and also flush out any other fixes I come across for other things that won't take me long to produce. So it has been parked a number of times. I am kind of working on it in between a lot of other things. So those that are kind of desperate for the video, obviously there is the actual document itself, but I'm hoping to put the video together so that it collates a lot of other things together, and anything else I find in between and what other people are finding in the community as well, I'm also adding in as well, which there is some other fix as well which someone found, which is to do with the Xbox controller, which is can also cause issues with kicks and stuff. So I'm gonna get that out as soon as I can, but in the meantime, please bear with me and I will do my best to get that video out when I can. Where we're at with regards to this base though, as you can see, while I was actually watching some of the UFC on Saturday night, I decided to start like dressing out the base as such. So this area I always wanted to kind of have like an area where, if it was a big guild base, that they could have a nice meeting area, or place where you could go and have a big banquet and stuff, and the leaders are at the top of the table, obviously up on the top, and kind of then your officers, and then all the other people down here, the line members as they would refer to it as. And yeah, that's kind of this area. So that's kind of like the big communal area and place where you can have meetings and get-togethers and stuff around the tables and stuff. Obviously on this side we've got the actual planning area of our conquest. Well, it's just a fake obviously thing, but it's our little planning table, which is pretty cool. Our library that's in the middle, which is for the open area. This is obviously line members and stuff like that. I haven't done anything on any on the other levels yet. Still to kind of barely nail down what I want to do. But the whole idea, I think, with this area here is this is going to be the officers kind of area. So officers and staff on this area are kind of like doing some sort of office floated desks and stuff like that. And then this area, I'm going to turn it into basically tons and loads of beds and stuff like that. And this will be the kind of like office, officers' quarters as such. And obviously at the very top, they're my quarters, the private quarters, or the leaders' quarters. So that's kind of how I'm going to dress out this base anyway. Obviously this is more kind of showy dressy type area rather than anything really useful, but it's always nice to have something that's homely and nice for you. Obviously downstairs where I'm going now, we've got all our production stuff. It is quite a way down. There is obviously this area up here, which big open area. I don't think I won't do anything with that, but you never know. It's an open area that could be used for some stuff, storage or whatever. Obviously I don't need it for putting in what other people might put in there, such as generators and stuff, but that's cool. We've got all of this, which is all now built out, and then coming through we then have the warehouse, which is now almost fully done. Not quite. I'll turn on the generators while we're here, because we'll go over to the other side of it and go start the aluminium processing that will need to be kicked off. Yeah, so I've got almost the whole of this warehouse done now. That side has been this side's been fully done. And I have started sorting it out and labeling all the stuff that has stuff in it that's actually kind of the main areas and stuff like that. I did initially put raw materials in this box here, metal ore. However, I am now actually going to separate them into each separate element. So we'll have a box for each of the high grade metals, at least the ones that weigh an absolute ton, and you can't actually tend to fit that much in each of them. So as you can see here, we've got stratarium nodes, which I have actually already put a ton in production already, like literally 1,000 of them, and that's the remainder of it. and then aluminium there, titanium in this one, and you can see that one's full as well. I've still got more actually in the main container itself. So just like, yeah, a lot of stuff there. Why this side isn't completely finished is because while it looks finished, there's still those ones to fit in. But I've pretty much finished the warehouse now, apart from the very bottom ones at the back. Just like fit those in, and then obviously got to label, then work out what I do want to split out and what needs like its own box, just because there's so much of it. And yeah, rename them all and stuff like that. So that's kind of where we're at with regards to that. Let's turn this on. I think I might have stuff already in it. I don't. Okay, fair enough. I wonder if... Oh yeah, I think what it was is while I was actually doing the stuff on Saturday for the UFC, I actually left all the stuff still running. So I should actually have a load of actually processed ingots. Yeah, 406 ingots. So a slight improvement as well as I made is, you'll probably be aware I used to like destroy this block here, rebuild it every time in order to get downstairs. Because I wasn't too sure where to put one, but then I came across this lovely area down here that I could actually put a actually permanent kind of shutter, which doesn't look stupid and get in the way of anything. So, and it works quite nicely, I think, hidden underneath the stairs and stuff to go downstairs. I built the final large water container as well, so we can now actually have over 1 million water units within the actual base now, which is pretty cool. I must admit that was the aim. We've obviously got all the generators, which allows me to, when I'm not using the base, like I haven't for like the whole of this week, I can just switch literally everything off and not use any more power than what those generators do. So effectively the shields and stuff will just work off those generators. I mean, I could even turn off all these as well, apart from, I think I left these three on because I've maybe got one of the water. I actually had the water running on the wind capture things. So yeah, if I actually turn the wind captures off as well, I can turn all of it off, but I think I left the wind capture on, which is why those three are running. But I made sure there was enough stuff in there, and they will actually last the same amount of time what's in the actual underneath main generators downstairs. Obviously these I'll always turn off, and they'll be mothballed based on, you know, what's needed and stuff like that. I think then if I've got all the aluminium done, then I need to get titanium going, because we've got loads of titanium we need to cook. Loads and loads. And as you can see there, 794. So if I used all of that, that would literally wipe out all my water. So I'm not going to quite do the full amount. I think I'll just do like... I'll do 300 for now. Which will take the whole stream. I haven't obviously been online at all, so I don't have a deep desert base up at the moment. But that doesn't stop us going out there and quickly setting up the base. It only takes half an hour to put up, so we can go do that in a minute. Just before I do that though, let's just check to see if there's anything else I need to do. We could put the rest of the strategy and math through, but I think I will leave it for now. Power's not. I goal launcher. Oh, goal unclear, should I say? How are you? So, I think we'll put these on, and then do need to make more of these, but I'm not sure if I need that much. Let's just do them all anyway, because I'll need both of them. If we are going to Deep Desert, I'll probably need a few of these. So let's build 5 of them. Actually, let's build 6. I'm assuming I'm going to be in the Deep Desert the weekend, so I'm going to kind of go with that assumption for now. Although I don't know what I'm doing the weekend, so. So I am tempted to run a stream over the weekend because I haven't had a chance really during the week to do the normal scheduled streams. I do really want to try and get that video out if I can, and if I do that, then I'm obviously not going to be streaming. So 203. I think that will build one more. One thing I do know I need is I need the large, well, not the large, I need the advanced machinery parts, and I need 39 of them. There's always something you need, but the machinery parts, the advanced machinery parts, is the other thing that's slowing me down now with the rest of this build, because realistically speaking now, other than the actual containers, which that titanium I've made is for those containers, and these containers, I think there's about, I take 50 aluminium each, 45 aluminium each, so I'll have enough. Yeah, I should have just about enough to do the rest of the containers underneath there, and that will then complete the warehouse. Then the only other thing I need as well is this death still, which is going to take 240 delirium, which will mean I need 240 aluminium for that. I'm not going to have enough money. I'm not going to have enough aluminium to do the 240. Well, have the 240 for this and do the containers. So we are going to need some more aluminium while we're out in the deep desert. So I'll make sure that I prioritize to bring back enough aluminium, so that when I break down the deep desert base that I put up today on Sunday, that we'll be able to get the aluminium in here and then put the rest into production to make the delirium. I do think I have enough though of the material to transfer the aluminium into delirium, because I've got that stored somewhere, so that's fine. Alright, I think I am mostly ready to go and do get our deep desert base set up. So I think I can switch these off because I haven't switched on enough that needs 2 of these, I don't think. But I could probably turn off the other one first. But I think the one thing I will do, actually, just double check, but I might put on the wind captures just so that I can gather some more water while we're out. We've got 80 to do, that's fine. One thing I think I'll be short of is plant fibers, but I'll see. Because what I need to do is make some wind trap filters. I'm missing something. Silicon. Oh, silicon. That's going to take a little bit of time. Now, change the order. 60 minutes. We won't need the full 100, but we will need about 60. So that's probably about 10 minutes ish. While I'm doing that, let me switch some of these around. Actually, before I do that, I wonder if, let's go and check something. Or if these are on or not. That's off. That's off and that's off. Oh, there is a trick actually I found the other day, I noticed. If the actual wind trap is still actually on, or can be, when you switch it on, there's actually a filter still in it. The little kind of red dot here, you can see like the white dot pointer right in the center of the screen. If you can see that is red at the moment, when you've actually got a filter in it and you can switch it back on, and there is actually a valid filter in there for it to actually start filtering and making water, that'll be green instead of red. So if you switch it off and kind of pause that actual process, that'll stay green, and that'll mean that when you actually go up to it, you'll actually know even before you switch it on whether or not you actually do have a filter in there, whether it'll start filtering straight away, or whether obviously there's, you know, there isn't actually a filter in there, or there wasn't a filter in there when you last switched on at least. It's only something I actually noticed the other day. I thought it was quite cool actually, because there's always like some little details in games that you don't always notice, and that's like one that I noticed, and I thought, oh, that's pretty cool actually. I've never would have thought they would have done that, like this eye to detail in some of these things, and that's definitely one of those things I was quite impressed by. I've got enough one so far. I only need 3 because I'll always come back later and put the other filters in, but as long as I got 1 filter in each of them, and then we can switch it on. They'll take up 150 power, which I don't think those wind generators will power enough energy, so I might have to keep that extra power unit on. I'll have to check in a minute. Halfway through the silicon filler, so it should be, what, how long did that take? About a minute? 30 seconds? It's not long. It's still not the fastest to make silicon, but yeah, it's not like the slowest either. I need to get some more plant fibers as well. I did find actually it's quite good trying to, when you're going around doing metal, it's actually quite a good idea when you're in the deep desert to try and get the plant fibers. It's not too bad getting plant fibers from Hager Basin, but it's far easier to get them in the deep desert. I think it, like, to be, other than like a couple of things like steel, those things are so much easier to get in the deep desert in bulk. It's like just a giant warehouse. You just have to gather the stuff. Oh, I did make a door up to here as well, but I think more for show than anything. that'll keep our water ticking over. So that effectively over 12 hours, it'll give you 100,000 water. Each one will. So in the next 12 hours, that'll produce 300,000 between them. When I come back after from the deep desert, I'll put in the other 3 filters that will have the resources to make when I get back, and that effectively keeps the water going, or water being produced for the next 24 hours, at which over those 24 hours it will produce a total of 600,000 water. Now I also do want to make another large water processor in the same way as the 4th death still. So hopefully what we'll have by the end of the build is we'll have 4 death stills of the advanced death stills, and we'll also have 4 of the water wind captures, which, based on now, if we had it running now, instead of 600,000 over 24 hours, you'd get 800,000 over a 24-hour period, which is nice if you're not in a rush. That's obviously why we have the death stills, because the death stills provide us the fast water, which we also have the local farm. I say local farm. What I mean is, like, there's a place over there, literally there, where you've got NPCs where you can go and kill the NPCs, bring them back, and that gives you your bodies. Although I do store some bodies here. I think it's just like when you've got 4 death stills running, those don't last very long, because every 50 minutes I think it takes them to process. You effectively then have to like get more bodies. It effectively doesn't last very long. You do get a reasonable amount of water out of just 3 of them. Out of 4 of them, you get like 45,000 water per one, which takes 50 minutes. So that times 4 gives you 90, 290 is 180. Alright. Something along those lines. Anyway, and yeah, it's not bad for like the period of time. So if it depends on how desperate you are for water. You just have to bear in mind that if you're doing like a big grind or a big kind of processing with like something like to make like your plastatium with it from the titanium and stuff, it's not going to last you very long, and you probably want to use the wind traps and kind of like plan it well ahead, so that you have and you have plenty of storage as well in order to like store the water that you're creating, because 1 million water sounds like a lot, but it's not when you're making plastatium, which, yeah, 1 million water will make you quite a bit of plastatium, but again, it's somewhat limited, I'd say. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go to Deep Desert. We're going to go quickly put up a base. Not which one I take, because I have to come back for the other one anyway. So I've got 2 things in 2 different boxes at the moment. I'm hoping this box is actually empty. I should have checked it really beforehand, but it doesn't really matter what we take out there. I think I've relatively emptied this, so this should only really have a couple of things in there that I might not have emptied or put into the main warehouse. But most things are actually in the main warehouse now, and I think I left a couple of things in here which I wanted to keep in here because there'll be like regular items that I'll be taking out to the Deep Desert and bringing back each week. This is obviously our main container for like taking out or bringing back materials in the bulk manner that take up a large amount of volume. But the actual main base itself and all the materials for that I'm going to keep in the buggy, unless I need the buggy in Hager Basin, at which point I'll then transfer the things from out the buggy into the container, just so that I can do that. Effectively, I want to keep like the materials for the Deep Desert base out of my normal containers in the Hager Basin, mainly because it's very easy if you're building or using any of the materials in your base in Hager Basin to use up any of those resources, and using up those resources just then makes it painful when you're then going to make your base out in Deep Desert and expect to have materials there and find out you're short of stuff because you've used some of the materials that you thought you hadn't used. So if you keep them in the container or one of your vehicles, it keeps all of the stuff separate. No, I'm not on a private server. I'm actually on a public server. I'm on a server that is I can't remember what it's called. It's called Wormsite. There is an instance in Hager Basin that I'm in, but I can't remember which one it is. I'd actually have to look. But I'll be looking to move in the next kind of couple of weeks or so, if not the next week. Once I finish the Hager Basin base, I'm effectively going to pack it up and move to Harmony, which is one of the main American servers. And the main reason for that being is because I do want to play an online game with other players. I will be meeting up with some people who watch the stream, so they can start participating in the stream and be part of it as well. So I'll be meeting up with them in Harmony. But yeah, I'm not on a private server. Not in here. When I play GTA Online, I usually play on a private instance, mainly because the gankers. But doing Awakening, I kind of want to go the opposite way. I actually want to be in a server with other players where there's loads of other players. Where the server I'm on at the moment, there isn't very many players. Like, you've seen a player as I actually came into the deep desert. That's rare to see another player actually, even in the deep desert. Because normally, I very rarely come across players on my server. Do you play Dune Awakening yourself? Level 24, nice. So you're still quite new then. Level 24, I think I'm probably that level by like a couple of days in. Only because the first couple of first like 50 levels you do pretty like blitz through pretty fast, to be fair. Depends how many hours you play, but cool. What type of server do you play on? Do you play in a European server or American server, or have you gone a complete private server? EU, cool. Did you go to one of the popular ones then? I'm assuming you would have done, because you don't generally want to play by yourself. Well, you might want to do, but I personally wouldn't. When I chose this server, it was not quiet like it is now. It just happens that I chose a server. Well, I didn't actually choose the server either. Actually, it was some of my American friends that chose the server. They just don't play it anymore. Have you been playing long on it? Have you just started or have you restarted? Because level 24 is very low. I do actually, Waylon, who's actually one of the people who regularly comes on the stream, they've just started a new character on another server, only because they've got some friends on their original server, so they didn't want to move their main character to the server we're going to meet up on. But yeah, they've got a new level low character as well as their main character. just need to go get a blueprint for the deep desert base because I didn't pick one up. I think I have all my ornies there. I need to just pick up an orny while I'm there. How I settled back home while I was back on Sunday. Just like, Stitch Baku. Nice. I don't really know which one is the busier of the European servers, but I have noticed that there's actually more. I was actually surprised. There seems to be more, like the actual European main server does appear to be more busier than the American main Harmony server. Although there are two kind of American servers that are both full. But the main European server looks jam-packed in comparison to the American servers, where there's two large American servers. There's just one big European one, with obviously fringy ones as well. Are you enjoying the game so far? What do you think of it? Did they join and then leave? I actually love it. Like, I love it. I kind of have a bit of a love and hate relationship with it. I love it. I love a lot of it, but there are certain things I don't like about it. Like the end game, it lacks an end game at the moment. Although it's getting better, sort of. What I would say with it is, like, Funcom just aren't very good at making PvP games. Like, they've never made a decent PvP game. They always try and have tried and failed a number of times in their games to produce a game that is both good from a PvE point of view, where there's plenty of game content and narrative that's really good around whatever the theme is. Like Age of Conan was like their first stab at all of this, and then their latest iteration, Dune Awakening. But when it comes to the PvP side, they've never been good at making a game that has good PvP engagement or mechanics in it. And Dune Awakening is another great example of their normal kind of iteration and model, where the game itself is amazing, and I love all the content. Like, I must admit, I thought I knew a lot about Dune Awakening, or Dune itself in the movie, and found playing this game that I actually knew nowhere near as much as I thought it did. And I've learnt loads about Dune, and it, like, I always loved the movie, and the latest series was amazing as well. So to play the game, it's really, really good, and it'll keep you learning, especially if you haven't read the books. But yeah, what I would say is, as soon as you get to the end game and you've got through most of the content, of which is probably the biggest part of the game, there isn't that much more to do. Like, you can, and I'm saying that from a person that sits on a server that's dead at the moment, which is one of the reasons why I'm moving to a much busier server, because I need to see whether I get the same boredom when I'm being harassed by the players, and whether or not, you know, I can get more fun out of the PvP side of whatever the content is. But I don't like the PvP mechanics, and they haven't made the game with like PvP is almost like a second thought, even though it was always supposed to be the end game, like the deep desert where I am now. Like all of this open space, this what they call the sandbox, which is literally sand. That's like your end game, but it almost feels like they've spent so much time making all the storyline and stuff like that leading up to it, that they just ran out of ideas and said, well, the end game, we'll just make a big deep desert and players can work it out for themselves what they're going to do and build bases and stuff like that, without any thought about like PvP. I don't know, you do need something to fight over, and they were obviously Spice Sand was supposed to be that thing that people were supposed to fight over. And originally, I suppose it was also supposed to be the metals as well, but that backfired when effectively people, well, put it this way, metal became that hard to get hold of that metal was starting to become more expensive than spice melange. So they had to kind of like revert that, and now you can get the metal all across the wall, so you don't even have to go into the main part of the deep desert. You can stay on the wall and get in a buggy and literally go around here and do it all, which is fair enough, but it's a change, and obviously they made a big change with how like the deep desert works as well, because the whole of the deep desert when you came off the wall was supposed to be PvP, and now only half of it's PvP. So there's quite a lot of things that they've changed, and they've had to do it because players just didn't like the way it currently worked, or the way it did work. I still can't say I'm super happy with the way it is now, because there's still things that are broke in the game, but there's things that they have fixed in the game. One of those things is that big container. Like before you had the big container, if you wanted to build a base or have a regular base out in the deep desert, it used to be painful. You used to have to take a base down, put a base up every week, which you still have to do, but it's getting the resources in and out of the deep desert, and that was painful. It could take you like a number of trips to bring all your stuff out here, and then at the end of the week it would take you that and more to take all your stuff back, because you're obviously making resources and doing stuff here, so you've got always going to have more stuff out here than when you like set up the stuff. So you would have like some weeks I'd spent like 6 or 7 trips literally in an assault ornithopter, and this was after they made it another change, because the assault ornithopter used to only have 1,000 capacity carrying, and then they changed that to 2,000 as an interim step towards getting a container, because they recognized that players literally were fed up of having to do a ton of runs, get all their stuff back out of the deep desert, because if you don't get your stuff out of the deep desert, it gets lost to the Cronionis event. So it's been kind of like almost like one thing after another in some ways, of like not enough kind of probably thought in how it was all going to work. But they have listened, so things have got better over time. But in that time, obviously a lot of players have left. So I think at the peak, there was like 280,000 players all playing simultaneously in Dune Awakening. Now, at the peak, so, and this, I say now, when I last looked, which was a month ago in December, the peak during the weekends was 10,000 players online at any one time, which will happen at the weekends, because that's obviously when most people are off work, at least. That might be lower now. It may have gone up, maybe. I very much doubt it, because there's been a trend so far of it going down each time, and a flood of players coming back when a major patch comes out, hoping obviously that they've improved things enough for them to want to come back. However, most players haven't. They've come back, realised it's still not good enough, and have gone, and each time that happens, less and less keep coming back. So we're now at the stage, I think, where you've got the diehards, and I definitely would not say I'm a diehard. Like, if it wasn't for the fact I was doing it for the stream, I probably would have quit this game myself. I'm not gonna lie. But it is what it is, I guess. Oh, and it's doing that because I totally forgot I need to place down the land claim first. I'm still so rusty at doing this because I just it feels like, because I hadn't done it for like months up until December, and even now I've only started doing it for the last couple of weeks, setting one up. Still feels a bit abnormal. To another base. Down. Let's get the blueprint down. I always like to have a good vantage point of putting these blueprints down, because you kind of need to see everything and have a good view of where you're placing it down. And this is one of the things I don't like as well, that they still haven't fixed. But they have fixed the actual blueprint itself, because the blueprint has been broken a number of times, a couple of times at least. And it also does help as well that you make a blueprint in a good way. There is a good way of making blueprints and a bad way of making blueprints. I will warn you of that. I've made the one I've got now, which is easy to place down. But if you just make a blueprint out of anything, what I will warn you is when you go try and place it, unless you're playing on you made on perfectly flat ground and you place it again on perfectly flat ground, you will have struggles trying to put it down. There is a bit of a trick to it. You kind of have to work it out, but I won't go into that now. But I will say to you, it can be a bit painful sometimes placing these down. As you can see here, I know I've got one object that says it's blocked, but effectively you need to have it so that it says nothing's blocked. And it's not too hard. There are keys you can use that allow you to kind of minutely move it, because if you tried just doing it with your mouse or your controller or whatever it is you're using, it's a lot harder. Effectively what I'm trying to do is I need it to be so high up. This particular one I've got here, I don't think I'm going to have to change it again, because unfortunately sometimes when you go to place it down, it won't let you adjust the height, even though it should do. For some reason it keeps not wanting to let me select the height, change the height. It let me rotate it, but it won't let me change the height. Why will you not let me change the height? It's so annoying. If they've changed the mechanics on this again, or if they broke it again. For some reason it will not let me adjust the height, which is why I think it's red in some areas. Done to my mechanics again. I can do everything but change the height for some reason. Well done, Funcom. You broke it again. I don't even think they put a patch out recently. Maybe they did since last weekend. Why is there one block there that is red? That's gonna say no. If I can go ahead and try it, but it'll probably say there's a block in the way. Why is that block yellow? Well, it consumed it, so it must have let it. I'm not sure that's actually in the right place, but I'm going to go with it because I can't be bothered messing around with it anymore than I have. It looks like it's far enough away, though. That's all I really need. Because if it's as high as it is there, when I actually finish placing it, that ramp will be in the air and I won't be able to put a vehicle up it. But I think it's far enough away because it'll need to be far enough away from this wall for me to be able to put a ramp here, because that last ramp will go up right up to here. So it needs to be as far over against the other wall for this to work. It looks like it's close enough, I think. So first things first, let's get a container and move this stuff into it that's in here. Because then that means I can build and have all the materials to build everything. Spam a few things into my container, into my backpack, because I can't remember which items I need. So all these items here, along with the stuff that's in my backpack, will allow us to build this base. I'll put all these in here as well because these batteries are to fill the generators. Although we don't need to worry about the batteries so much because there's tons of batteries out here. This is where I get all my batteries for my base. For the Hag base and base set, like for every single like thing that I generally have for materials, other than if I ever need steel, I would always get from the Deep Desert because it's so easy to get from Deep Desert. Okay, so that's everything in a container, which means that now everything will be available for all the resources to build the base. So this will be it. It should only take from this point onwards about 15 minutes ish. Effectively all we're doing is colouring in the book. So think of like what we did do up till now as sketching it all out. This is literally just colouring it all in. And this is what makes building the base faster. Once you've got a good blueprint that allows you to put it down easy enough, assuming that Funcom don't break the mechanics of the blueprint, which they do from time to time, it shouldn't take you too long. Placing this blueprint is the longest it's taken me in ages because they haven't broke the blueprint thing for ages. So, but it does appear to be a bit funky today. So I don't know what they've been doing to it. So hopefully we can get this done nice and fast. Then we'll go out into the deep desert and try and get some more not complex, I always go to say complex, advanced machinery parts, because that's definitely the hardest thing for me to get hold of at the moment, and I still have about 70 more to get. So I did a good run over the weekend, and I did manage to get a good 40, or just short of 40, which allowed me to build the second actually large power unit. I've still got another 2 of those to build, and I've also obviously got the other wind trap to do. I don't need any of the actual advanced machinery parts though for the other wind trap, thank God, but I do think I need them for something else. I just can't remember off the top of my head what it is, but there is another thing I noticed I needed as well, and then I realized they also needed complex machinery parts. So I am gonna need quite a lot of them. So it's probably, if I do stream over this weekend, we'll be doing plenty more of that, having to go out and get those. Spice melange I'll also need some of, so we'll probably not do that today, but I will be doing that over the weekend, assuming I do get a chance to do a stream over the weekend and I don't spend the whole of it trying to put a video into production to try and cover the fix for the battle eye issues. But yeah, hope you're all enjoying your day. Hope you actually also like the new chat as well, because I spent a lot of time getting that to work and putting it up. And today is the first use of it as well, because while I could partially test it just to make sure it worked in the way I thought I wanted it to work, I couldn't test it and make sure all the chats work. So do feel free to chat, because it just also lets me know whether I did actually get it working properly. I know it's working on Twitch because someone has chatted through Twitch, but if anyone is on of the other platforms that wants to ask any questions, do feel free to ask. The chat feature should be now fully available across all the platforms, so no matter whether you're on X, if you're on obviously Twitch, it's on that, Facebook, chat's on that as well, obviously YouTube, Kick, and what else have I missed? I think that's all of them. It's like 5 platforms we stream to. The newest of the places we're streaming to is Twitch, not Twitch, TikTok. That one has taken a while to get that stream up, and that's not because I didn't want to get the stream up for that. Twitch have, I keep saying Twitch, but TikTok have quite a lot of requirements that you have to do in order to stream on that platform, and until you meet their criteria, you can't effectively do a live stream. So for the last, say, 3 months, I've spent a lot of time basically working towards meeting the criteria that they require in order to do stream. We finally obtained that last week, and I did my first stream last week. So we're in our 2nd week now, and since then, obviously, I've got a new chat piece of software as well that allows us to then do all the chats, and we're now in a situation where I've been trying to get to since the very start of the whole online gaming stream stuff, because I've done streaming beforehand, but the gaming side of it is me putting a hobby to what I've done for other things, because I'm not new to streaming, but I am new to streaming in gaming. And yeah, I kind of mixed my hobby with something I did for other business stuff, and thought it would be good for sustainability, because the other type of stuff I was doing, it was just kind of I would say less sustainable in the sense of because it wasn't my hobby, it was easier not to have to do. and it wasn't just something I was doing, it was something I was going out my way to do. So this kind of allowed me to do something that allowed me to do it in a more sustainable way, because I game all the time anyway, so why not just almost bring other people into it and make content, help people out, be part of the community, and do it while streaming instead of just doing it more behind closed doors. So that's where the game streaming came for me. I know other people do it for different reasons, but mine's just more because I do all of this anyway. It's just the streaming part's just an extra thing on top of that. And as the technical person, it wasn't hard for me to set it up. It's just time consuming trying to get it set up. Some things have been challenging, don't get me wrong, but for a person who's done a lot of things, I would say it's probably been one of the harder things I've done. Even harder than setting up actual communities and running gaming communities and stuff. Like, I'd say this is harder than that, just because it's just so much to constantly keep challenging you, because no matter what you keep doing in this like streaming stuff, you never get to a point where you can't improve something, or there's nothing for someone else to do, or something breaks. That the amount of things that keep breaking, you have to fix them. That's quite an annoying part. Anyone who thinks it's easy, I'd say I'll give you a reality wake up check and turn around and say it's fun, but I would say it's far from easy. I'd say it's very challenging, very time consuming. But the fun part is, I think, is like chatting with others and seeing what other people think of the games, letting people understand what I understand of the games that I play. As I am a person that learns things pretty fast, and game wise, yeah, because I'm a big gamer and have been for decades, thanks in part to my dad. Yeah, I've just kind of always been around the tech and the gaming side of things, so this is how I got into community in gaming, and that's kind of like how I started on that point of view. And then the streaming side of things has just been more of a thing for my own business, because I always wanted my own business and I've always been very entrepreneurial, so kind of like the streaming side of things, I did try to avoid doing this type of thing actually for my business, because I didn't really want to do something that was my hobby for what I do for my business. But I've come to realise over the years, actually, that's exactly what you want to do for your business. Do something you're actually really passionate about, because it gives you something that firstly no others can replicate, because at the end of the day, if it's part of you, then you know, people can't replicate you. They can try and copy what you're doing, but they'll never be truly the same as what you're doing. Okay, so we've almost got most things down. We'll get the generators up. I'll need to put an extra generator down because this blueprint is short of one generator, at least on the main build stuff. I'll be enough generators once I build the other ones. I need to build a few more floors. Well, yeah, floors on the ground. And this is why I said I've made this base easy to place, is because I've taken certain tiles out that I know if I didn't take them out, they would actually make it really hard to place this base down, because there's quite a few different things that when you're placing the base down, it doesn't like, and it doesn't like things intersecting with things. So effectively, when you're making your blueprint, kind of make it so it's hollow as much as possible in the bottom, especially if you have these foundation blocks. Make sure you place foundation blocks in a way that have the least amount of them as possible if you want to be able to place it down, because the less you have, the more easy it will be for you to place your base down. The more you have, the harder it will be. It's like slight changes I've made since I made this blueprint. To be fair, this blueprint was only ever supposed to be a temporary thing. I do actually have a complete other design, the OG design for this base. Well, for a deep desert base. It's just that that base was also made in the thought of that, well, I'm always going to need a deep desert base because I need all my like processing and stuff out here, and make the stuff I'm going to make stuff out here. That's obviously before they decide they were going to like make containers so that you could bring stuff in and out of that deep desert, which completely then changed everything, and for me it was a game changer. And I think it is for a lot of players as well, because now means that you can, as long as you have the resources, you can keep your stuff in Haga Basin and then just bring back the stuff that you've gathered out here back to Haga Basin, and that just saves you kind of time and I think effort of having to do stuff here. Because if I was to bring out my big deep desert base in order to have the big spice refiner and have all the other stuff out here, there's a lot more materials. It takes a lot longer to put up the base, a lot longer to take the base down. There's a lot more materials to like carry from side to side, which wouldn't be too much of an issue now. Although if I was doing all of that, while it wouldn't take up the whole of the container, it would take up a considerable amount of the container's space, which means then less resources to taking it out. It's just easier, I think, like now that you don't even have to think about having to do that, because you can just have the ability to do what you want to do. And if you do want to bring back out a big base each week and do that every week, you can do that and only have to do it for one run now in comparison to how it would have had to have been. However, personally, I think it's easier just to have everything in Haga Basin and take out and bring back the resources that you've mined throughout the week, and just have a base out here more as a base of operations to work from than a base that's a base that you have to do everything in and then take everything back and destruct it and reconstruct it in the next week. So that should be almost everything. I just need to sort that ramp out in a second. We'll fill up that, which should bring everything online. Get this inside. Just a couple things that needs to change around. Like there were 2 containers here, which would have seen me delete. That's only because, like I said, this was kind of like it's supposed to be a temporary base, and has now ended up being my main deep desert base that I build out here every week. So there are a couple modifications that I should actually build into and kind of make all those blueprints, but for now I've got it as it is, and it doesn't take much that longer just to switch a few things around. That's the ramp finished. Also an item. Oh yeah, move that container into the corner, and I think that will be everything. Let's check how much fuel I've got. As long as I've got 6 days. Actually, I won't even need that because I keep forgetting. I've literally burnt for the whole week, so I've only literally got about 4 days before all this will have to come down anyway. It'll be less than that because I'll be taking down on Sunday, but the latest you can leave this up until is Tuesday morning UK time. However, I always take it down now on a Sunday purely because I stream GTA on a Monday, so I won't be rarely playing or coming in to do an Awakening. And the last time I used to do that, well before I actually had sort of a bad turn, which was due to me leaving the base in the deep desert over a Cronius event, I lost everything that I had in my base apart from my vehicles, and luckily in my vehicles I actually kept a load of resources in there that were valuable resources like spice melange. However, effectively, I wiped out a lot of stuff, and my lesson learned was don't wait until the last day in order to do it, because if you have a moment of forgetfulness because you're busy doing other things, and then you realize a day later and then go, oh, my deep desert base, you didn't take it down, yeah, you lose everything. So I'd say careful, and just be mindful of the last day that you know you're going to be gaming online. And if you don't think you're going to be playing that day, just take your deep desert base down, because it's best to take it down early and feel like you may have taken it down early and wasted a bit of time than lose all the resources that you would have done in the way that I did, because I lost probably around 1500 spice melange, which was everything for a large spice refiner, the large ore refiner, a load of other materials. Luckily we had the vehicle recovery tool then, because if we hadn't had the vehicle recovery tool with the new mechanics, because the old mechanics were if you lost your vehicle you wouldn't have got it back, but the new way is that you get it as long as you claim it back within 72 hours, you can get your vehicle back. So luckily that mechanic came in, I think only about a couple of weeks before it actually happened, and I did get all my vehicles back. And luckily as well, in that if you do store anything in your vehicles and that happens, you do get the stuff in the vehicle that whilst it was actually destroyed back, which is quite good actually, because obviously if you get eaten by a worm you normally lose everything. So that's how I was expecting that to work when the Cronionis event happened, but I found out that yeah, I did get my vehicle back, and to my surprise on a live stream I realised that you also got the stuff that was in it back if you had anything in it, and luckily I did that week. Else I would have literally gone from having too much spice melange to having none. But that actually put me back to having a modest amount, and since then obviously I've fully recovered. Okay, so base up, we're sorted, shields are up, everything, so let's get the vehicles in here and then we can go out and do a run. Drive that one in. It's just the other one I need to actually place in. You can actually push them actually with a buggy, but I'm not going to do that. So I can just lift it in. Something like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'll normally put this just on the rump. Oh, I didn't pick up the fuel cells, did I? I knew there'd be someone I forget. I always forget every week. There's always something I like overlook. Just realised. I did put them into the processor. I don't even think I changed the order to get them done sooner, but they should actually be done now. go and get some batteries or fuel cells. Oh, not the fuel cells. We'll get batteries. We'll get them, and then I also noticed I don't think I have any of my Deep Desert stuff, so I'll need to get that as well. Which I think I left in a box. You can tell I'm super organised today. Really not organised at all, but it is one of those things. For me, at least, I always have the best intentions. Unless I set everything up perfectly, there's always something I forget. And even when I do think I've got everything that I need, I'll get there, and then there'll always be something. One item. Always one item that I'll miss. If not more. But this time, I think there's a couple of items. I didn't bring any of my Deep Desert stuff out. Clothing-wise. As well as the fuel cells that I did actually put on. Thinking, yep, I'll need them. Because I always need the fuel cells. That's the one disadvantage of actually not having the processing stuff out in the Deep Desert. Is that you can't just make stuff while you're out here. You will have to come back. But I don't mind that. It's still less hassle than having to build it all and bring it all back. And yeah, I prefer doing it the way I do it, but everyone to their own. And I'm sure there's plenty of people that do the opposite to the way I do it. But I've done it the other way, and for me, I prefer it this way. I like a decent one as well. I was expecting that to be some Ned pick pack things. Heal kits. That's the word. It's because I watch a YouTuber on a different game, and in that game, all these items that I refer to in this game, I always think of the like for like. It's like scrap is in that game. In this game, it's metal part or metal salvage. But I still call it scrap just because I don't know, my brain wires one way and that's it. I just think I interthink the same thing, but say the thing that I know most, which may not be relevant to that game. And that game being Rust, which I don't even play and I've never played, but I always refer to items in that game which the equivalent are in this game. Oh, it hasn't finished then. Wow. God, it's still going. Get these batteries done, please. A minute. We'll be able to get those other 3 filters done now though. We'll get them in there while we wait. So we can do 6, so that'll last a day by itself. We've already got the ones that are in there from before, so we should have a day and a half's worth in there, which altogether will fill up our water. So I think I will put on more of the statium ingots. Actually, how many have you got of that? I might do 240, wasn't it, for the death still. So we'll get the stuff in for the death still, and then we'll get plastatium and ingots in. That's how many. Just want to see, like, if we did 499, does that take all the water? Pretty much. So let's do 200, so we've still got a little bit of water left. But then we've got plenty of room, because I'd rather have a little bit of water still, but also not use it all up, just because there may be something else I need water for. But also, I do want to use up all the water as well, or as much water as I can, because obviously I'll be backfilling, and if I have tons of filters that over like a day and a half will produce over 1 million, then yeah, we just want to make sure that we effectively don't waste filters, because when filters won't reinsert themselves if you haven't got enough room left. However, one thing I have found, even though, because they changed the mechanic about 3 months ago, so that effectively when your water's full, it will stop the wind filter from producing water, and it's supposed to stop the timer. Well, that's the way I got explained it. However, in actual practice, what I've noticed is it will stop a new filter being inserted. However, if you already have a filter in there, it will use up the full timer of that filter. So it could be that it's filled up your water and you've still got 8 hours left on it. That timer will still click on for the full 8 hours, so you'll lose whatever water you could have made over 8 hours, and it just won't drop in the next filter. So it'll stop producing and wasting filters from that point, which means you've just wasted a filter that had 8 hours on it, but it won't let any more filters continue. The way I got told it would work was that when you effectively got filled up with water, if you had 8 hours still on the actual filter that was in the container at the time, or your wind trap at the time, then the actual wind trap would pause and stop using that filter. But that's not what happens, at least what I found. So because it works like that, I'm always conscious now that I can't just leave a wind trap and know that if it kind of gets to the end, that you're not going to be wasting stuff. So I'd rather kind of keep on top of it enough to make sure that that's very less likely to happen. Still not impossible, and I have already, because I realized and found this out, I've obviously came to realize that it didn't work quite the way I was explained it, and yeah, now I kind of try to be more mindful and make sure I use water, or I'll basically turn off the wind traps if I think, because once you turn them off, if I turn this wind trap off now, it would pause it wherever it is, so that would stay like that until I turned it back on. However, if it fills up, that timer will keep ticking until it finishes that actual filter, and it just won't drop the next filter in, which is a bit sad really that it works like that, because that's not how they explained it was going to work. But it is what it is. I've noticed I've got an extra one in there. So I've got one wind trap that's actually got 4 running, or the equivalent of 4, because we only turned the other one on not that long ago. Well, actually no, it'd be 3. It's just that the other one's left over. There's just more left in it than I thought. Time's left. Actually no, that's only 2 hours. So it's probably got about 3 hours more than the other ones. Because this should have output them to circuit 5. I think circuit 5 is right at the end. I came up with this ingenious idea that I could run things on different circuits and output them to different circuits, but it kind of works if you remember where each box input is. That's input 6, that's input 4, that's input 5, so it must be this one that's fancy. Box is this supposed to be? Metal upgrades. That's because I was doing Statium the other day. I need to change this to input 6, input 1. That ping thing would stop kicking away. 6. That's 1. Okay. Ally service not running properly. Please restart client. See, I still get that issue now and again. I haven't been kicked from Battle for ages. Oh, now the whole game's died. Awesome. Welcome to my backdrop. Yeah, it's the first time I've actually had the battle eye kick for probably 3 months. I have to use my script again. I did get to a stage where I'd stopped having to use my script in order to stop the battle ice kicks, so I stopped using it. But that could be because I kept going in and out of boxes. I don't know. Maybe it didn't like me going in and out of boxes, because it seemed to ping every time I was going in a box. The ping kept changing. Unusual that it killed the game as well, like, but oh well. What I was doing, rare car mats, change to circuit 7. That should move everything to the right box now, and put all the stuff that's currently being made in the right box and save me having to keep moving it. I will be able to probably move most of that actually straight away, because that's all currently being made for the wind turbines that are outside, so that they can generate power. I'm aware that we effectively haven't filled them up for ages, so they were kind of getting low. This should just fill them all up, evenly fill them up as well. And that's the advantage of actually doing it from that control unit rather than doing them all individually, because it'll automatically just look at all your storage and just assign it straight into your wind turbines or any of your power units. So you can literally have batteries in any of your storage, and it'll basically distribute those batteries or whatever else out evenly across your whole base. So I've got 2 storage boxes here for my batteries. which will fill up the normal generators. But these generators here, which is what those blue barrels are for, that's what these fill up. So these are full of blue barrels now, or should be. Not quite full because there's still 33 in those, but they're mostly full now. The rest of those barrels though should now go into the right container, which should be this end barrel or end box here, which they're coming into now. 20 in there. That's empty, nice. Actually, that's not the right box, was it? I think it was this box. Yeah, this box. And the batteries I need as well. Probably shouldn't put those units in there, should I? I should have maybe put them in here actually. Just thinking, maybe I should put them in here because that isn't really. Go back to one. I was thinking put them in there, but then I just realised actually no, they're not. They're not really the same thing as that. So I'll change it to this box, and they should all come into this box now. It just means to say what this box is meant for is effectively all the stuff to power the base. So batteries, any fuel cells or of different types, which the barrels are a lubricant, but help give you the fuel cells, and you need even a fuel cell to make one. So all that type of stuff anyway will go in those two barrels there, or these two storage boxes here, which will normally have the very base component in order to make all of it to start with. Other thing I needed before I go back, which I almost went to forget before I went back to Deep Desert, is just some clothes that are meant for the Deep Desert. Like all this stuff that I need. The compactor, that scanner, we'll need that for scanning stuff down. We'll take spare water out to the Deep Desert, we'll leave that in the base. Let's take another battery, why not? Is there anything else? Don't think so. I think that is all I need for now. So I gave myself a caveat there because I said now. All the stuff I think I need, but I will need more probably, because I always do. Okay. Because we're going to go out in the scout ornithopter, I'm going to take this scout ornithopter because I always like a spare ornithopter with me. What the hell is going on? Why is the view all messed up? Tell you what, this game today is being really weird. I've had a battle eye kick already. That camera weird thing. There's something else that happened earlier. Oh yeah, that was it. The blueprint didn't want to go up and down, which it should do. There's a weird few things that are happening in this game today. I don't know if they've done a patch that's messed a few things up, but it's certainly acting funny today. Patches are normally every Tuesday as well, so this game would have probably had a patch since I last played. It does seem to be very finicky. I don't think they've done any of the major patches though today. Like, if they've done anything, it'll just be hot fix or hot break, maybe. Breaking a load of things that I've fucking come across. Evening at beer. How are you? Nice name as well. Adbeer. Adbeer here. Puns intended, eh? Just feeding you dinner addiction, nice. You been playing long? Or have you even played yet? Or are you just like a watcher? Oh, nice. On a different server, or are you still playing on the same server? Got a second person I know now started a second character. Different server. That's more popular, I'm guessing. Yeah, I don't blame you. That's like me on this one. To be fair, like I say that, but oh, which server have you moved to? I'm be moving to Harmony soon, but I'm currently on Sam's worm site. PAX. Is that a European server, is it? I don't think I've come across PAX or heard that one. So I'm on an American server, mainly because most of my friends who got me playing Doom were American, or are American, say they're not were, they are American. It's just that they don't play the game anymore. Like most players, they left because they found it fun and enjoying, but they didn't like the end game, and got bored very fast. Where I had other motivations like the stream that kept me going in the game. So, yeah. Harmony. Nope, I am moving to Harmony though. So, Harmony's the server I will be moving to, which will be the popular server on that. But at the moment, I'm playing on Wormsite. In some Stitch, which I can't remember which Stitch it is. There's a place you can check actually, but I can't remember where that is either. Is it like... Is that because it's just too busy, or like I want busy though? I want people. I'm moving for the same reason you probably moved onto your busy server. Can you have two? I haven't tried, so I can't tell you for sure. I'd imagine you can, but the question would be why would you want two tunes on one server? But I don't know anyone that's tried, and I've not heard whether you can or can't, so I can't confirm or disconfirm at this stage. You want to transfer your money over? Okay. All right. Well, I don't think... One thing I don't think you can do is if you've been on a server, I don't think you can move back to a server after you've transferred. So I think you can only transfer once per toon. So as long as one of your toons haven't been on the previous server, then you should be able to move. But other than that, I'm not 100% sure whether you can definitely have two toons on the same server. And I don't know 100% that you can't transfer back. The only reason why I'm saying you can't transfer back, because if you read between the lines, they say make sure that you pack everything, because if you leave your base behind, you won't be able to get it back. Now, while that doesn't say you can't go back to the server or transfer back to the server, it kind of implies that you can't. You can't have two toons. Okay. So there you go. Super has just confirmed that you can't have two toons on the same server. But what you could do is, if you've got a friend who you trust, you could give them the money on one of your characters and get them to transfer over to that server and get them to pass you the money on the other toon. That would be the other way that you could do it, but you would have to obviously trust that person to do it. Or you could create another account, actually. What about if you create another account? Because you pay for the game, don't you? So if you create another account, you could create the account on the server with your character, do a player-to-player transfer, buy and sell the stuff through players, and then, because all you'd have to do is set up one item, set up an item like, I don't know, a plan item or something like that, set the price at like 2 million or however many you want to transfer to your other character that you want to transfer over, get it on the other character, and then do a transfer on the other character to the other server, and then do the same on the way back, well on that server, but to your other character. So set up an item that's stupidly expensive that no one's going to buy, that's not worth anywhere near what it is, and then get your other character to buy it. And that will allow you to get it. There's always workarounds. Just thinking about how the workarounds might work. I'm still yet to do a transfer myself, so I haven't, because I haven't done it, I don't know fully, other than what I've read, how it definitely works. I have seen a few videos on people doing obviously a base move and stuff like that, confirming that it should pick up your base without breaking it and drop the base down without breaking it. However, I've also made a base that's very complicated. It's like, it's not one build as such, although it is a build, it's not. It's kind of like two, because my base sits across a whole valley, it's actually been made on two sides and it comes together and it looks like it's one base, but it actually, if you took out certain parts, you'll notice that it's actually supported on two different sides. So it actually, I'm not 100% sure whether the actual whole base kind of move tool's actually going to work with my base. I'm hoping it does, because if it doesn't, I'm going to cry when I move it, but we'll soon find out. Leave the battery here, actually. Should be fine without it. Not too bad. It could be better. Okay, let's go do a little bit. Let's see if we, in the next 15 minutes or so, we can quickly maybe get on a trail. Yeah, that is the right one. Just making sure I'm in the right scout helicopter, because one of them has a scanner and the other one doesn't. So I want to make sure I'm in the one with the scanner so that I can scan things down when I get to the large spice fields. Because this is what I found. I found the large spice fields are great to find the treasure trails that have the complex machinery parts in, which is these complex machinery parts, the parts I need now to finish off my big solo player base and get those final big items that I need, which are the 2 power units, which each take 45 units, I think, or something like that along those lines. Effectively, I still needed a lot more of them, and I spent a good few hours over the last weekend getting enough to make another one. So I've now got 2 large power units that I can switch on and pretty much power a lot of the items in my base, but still not quite everything. The whole idea is that I can get another 2, and then I'll be able, the third one should allow me then to be able to put virtually every single thing I think online at the same time if I wanted to. But then the 4th one will be just to add a bit more mitigation to that, so that effectively then I will be able to, but also build other things as well if I need to, like expand and have more refiners and stuff rather than just like one. I could maybe have a couple of the large spice refiners if I wanted to, although I'm personally not going to, because I'm not going to be like out on the field doing that much of it, especially when I do move to Harmony, because I'm sure it's going to be a lot more interesting when I'm in the deep desert on Harmony in comparison to where I currently am, and I can come out here and not have to worry about anything. Well, not much. I do see the odd player now and again, and as I said earlier on the stream, I did say, I hardly ever bump into anyone. Just as I said it, there was someone in there and an helicopter literally above me as I said it. And I was like, that's typical. I say that, I say I never, hardly ever bump into someone, and instantly as I say that, there's a player that pops up. Is there a way? There isn't. Not that I'm aware of. The only way, and I don't think they make it even that obvious when you're actually there, because the thing is it doesn't go. The reason why there is no way that you know, because the ideal way that you would know is that you would instantly go into the game and you would see the balance show on the money available. And that's how every other game works. Like, as soon as something's sold, it instantly shows in your inventory or in your like account. So like when you're here, you would see the amount of Solari you've got. Now in this game, for some reason, they've set it up so that you have to almost accept the sale. Even though the sale's gone through, you have to accept it to get the money into your balance sheet, which doesn't make a huge amount of sense. However, because of that, there is no way, because you have to accept it. So it's like you set up the sale goes through, and then once the sale's gone through, you have to accept it. And it's almost like even when the sale also doesn't go through and it's expired, you have to accept the expire for it to go back into your inventory again. Now that can be useful, and I've sometimes used that to actually keep an item out of my storage and store things maybe in there purposely, so that I don't, when I've not had places to store stuff, I've literally just put it on sale and then left it knowing that it was going to expire. But yeah, that's not ideal either. But yeah, there is no way that I'm aware of that you can do that, at least at the moment in game. Maybe it's something they change down the line. I don't think that they've mentioned about making that change anywhere, but it's certainly, there isn't any obvious way that I think at the moment you can tell. There's no notifications I've noticed about it. Possibly you could check some logs, like it might show in a log, and I've not checked logs ever, or thought about checking logs if I'm honest, but again, I don't think it would show in there. The only way that you actually know at the moment is literally having to go to one of the actual main posts, trading posts, and then when you're there, obviously at that point you'll know, because it will then say order fulfilled, and when you obviously accept the order being fulfilled, whether it's because it's expired or because it's actually been sold, then that's how you know. But before you get there, there's no way of knowing, because it doesn't go into your balance. So sorry. Not good news, but it is how it works at the moment. Yeah, and like it's probably quite hard. Like I built up enough money when this server still had players on it, or enough players on it, to make some decent money on it. And even when I did think this server was dead a few months back, I did try and just put a load of random things on that if I didn't end up if I didn't end up selling them, I was just going to despawn them, because I had no room for them and I couldn't see the point in storing them for no reason. So I was just going to despawn them. But I thought, on the off chance, I'll put them up for sale at a really low cost rate that basically you can buy them off an NPC for the same price. Some, in one or two cases, a little bit more expensive, in some cases cheaper. And I ended up selling everything. And I was actually shocked. I made about 3.5 million Solari off it, when I was not expecting to make any money off it, if I'm honest. But that's kind of how it works. But yeah, making money now on this, even the player market in this server, it's not going to happen, because I don't think there are some players still left on this server, but the population now has gone down that bad that you just have to be lucky that someone wants what you're about to sell, and they have the money to kind of buy, I guess. But yeah, like the market on my server doesn't exist anymore. Like there's hardly anything listed at any point. You can sometimes go in at the weekend, and this was about two kind of months ago, and during the week there would be nothing on the market, but on the weekend you would see some items. So now it literally is fend for yourself, because you'll never buy it on the player market. If you want to make money, well, there's no one to buy, so. I'm obviously an American server, so I'm not too concerned. Like, I did see a player on before, but I very much doubt. Like, even when this player was quite popular, this wasn't a very good PvP server that my mates chose, even though they're PvP players, because it's never been known. Like, there would be odd ganker on here, but nothing like Harmony and some of the other servers. So I've never been fearful. But I've always wanted the PvP, that's the thing. Just that, unfortunately, there's no PvP going on in my server, and you can pretty much come out into deep desert. Now and again, like there was one weekend where I'd actually thought there was no one left on my server, because I hadn't seen anyone in about 2 months. And then one weekend I seen about like 5 or 6 people. Kept coming across them, all in deep desert, doing like spice farming and all sorts. And I was really shocked, so I was convinced there was no one else left on the server. How long ago was that? Yeah. See, like, by the time we got to October, really, like last year, they'd already shredded most of the players, so we were already very kind of like low on the amount of players that are left playing the game in comparison to obviously when it first kicked off. And that's not abnormal, but they'd shredded so many players that for anyone that wasn't on a big popular server meant that you were so unlikely now to bump into people. Like when I first started the game, when on the first week it would come out, you would come across people in Harko Village, in Arako, all around Haga Basin. As you're going around doing story things, you'd see people in the testing stations. It was great, but like that was short-lived, because I think after even like the third week, you started seeing less and less people. Oh wow. Hopefully not just for this game. And you had other games in mind as well. Because yeah, this okay. Oh, I've not found any. Like, I found one treasure, but normally you find a trail off the one item, but there doesn't appear to be any trail, and I think that's because this island's away. So there might be a trail that continues over somewhere, but it's going to be really hard to find and pick it up now. Do you play any other games? The reason why I say that is if you've just upgraded your PC, there are other games out there. Like, there's tons of games that you can play, which you'll be able to utilize a good computer on, and you probably did upgrade at the right time, regardless to whether it was just for this game, because there'll be other games down the line. But it's going to be very expensive to upgrade computers now that RAM is ridiculously expensive. Because like you, I was lucky. I actually upgraded my computer last summer because well, mainly because I was doing the streaming. My computer was quite powerful anyway, but I wanted to stream online, and I was struggling with streaming with the current setup or the old setup I had. So I basically needed to upgrade what was previously very high tech to what was the high tech again. Now that storm looks like it's coming directly at me. You go north or south? We looks like we're right in the middle of it as well, not even on the edge. I think I'm going to go north. It should be far enough away that I can skip to the edge.
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
1 minute away. Maybe I'm not far enough away. You normally have 8 minutes or so. Literally, I must be on. It literally must have spawned on the west side, because that's the closest side I am to. Or is that head? Is that head diagonal? Seems to be like still heading exactly where I'm going. Oh, maybe if I head more north. I chose the wrong direction to come. Should have gone south. I don't think it's going from left to right or west to east. I think it's going like northeast.
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm.
Yes, I'm aware. Oh, there's a down ship. Let's scan that as I'm going past. Hopefully that shows on the map. It doesn't. I think it's with waypoints, so they don't seem to keep. They only seem to be short-lived. Oh, there's a fucking sandworm that's gone to eat it as well. Motherfucker. Typical. Oh, and that sandstorm is literally... I've literally gone the wrong way. I must be heading into it. Let's get down. Might not get damaged there. I can't pick it up because obviously I got my spare ornithopter in my ship recovery tool. So it's just gonna have to hopefully be more covered. It's not going to be completely covered, but it might be a little bit sheltered, which means it just won't take as much damage. We'll soon find out when I get back, because last time this happened, I got back and it literally damaged my wings that much that from being able to fly my ornithopter, I couldn't fly it anymore because the wings got like literally zapped a couple of times as well. Literally by, I think it was like the last lightning bolt. It just went for, and you just see the thing fucking blow up, and I was like, oh my god, trust my luck. Luckily I had a spare ornithopter on me. How much damage has this got? Pretty worse. Did quite a bit of damage, like, fair dues. This is my OG ornithopter as well. Back from the days when you used to be able to repair things from back to brand new again. So yeah. You can't do that anymore, so this will eventually die at some point now. Okay, let's see if we can find another large spice field, because I need to... The reason why I'm trying to find large spice fields is because I have found that when you're trying to find stuff from like treasure hunting, you can find the most valuable materials quite often close to large spice fields. So if you're ever trying to do hunting to get materials and do what I'm doing now, then find wherever your largest spice field is and then do scanning off that. Firstly, to find a trail, but that trail will likely lead you to some very valuable things. Now, you can do treasure hunting in various different places and pick up trails in various different places. But I found a regular thing, I would say quite a reliable way of getting the better resources from doing it, from being near higher risk areas. So places like the big down ships, not the little small ones that crash and sandworms eat, but the ones that are permanently there and get moved around once every week through the Chronionus event. And the large spice fields, both those two items, if you can find any kind of trails off that where you can do the treasure hunting and find items in the sand, then generally those kind of trails seem to be a little bit more lucrative from my experience. At least they are for what I'm after, and that's the complex machinery parts. I've even had actually a blueprint from one as well. So you can get some really good items from treasure hunting. And depending on how busy your server is, I'd say it's probably one of the lower risk things to do. Other than obviously being next to a large spice field that's populated, because that's going to attract players, but other than that. Oh, that's the end. So let's go west. Or east, should I say. I haven't checked the map this week to see... Like, I've got an intel map that you can get, and it basically has a layout of all the things that have been distributed this week for the Deep Desert. So it gives you an idea where things are. It's not 100%, and there's the wall. Seeing it this time, just about. If you're heading directly towards it, I never see it, but if I come close to it like that, then sometimes I can see it. But yeah, the map I use effectively just gives me a bit of intel on what should be in certain places in the deep desert, what grids they might be in. It's not 100% because it is player generated, and I have found that sometimes it's not 100% accurate, but it gives you an idea. And sometimes if you have no idea, some idea is better than no idea. So according to my intel, this one should have a large spice field in it. And that'll be a good place to start. And to be fair, I normally, like, if I'm on a busy server anyway, where there's a lot more players, I will tend to go to the places that most people would consider more dangerous. And the back, because this is so far away from safety, this is probably, I would say, one of the more like dangerousy areas you could rarely be. But I think that makes it more safer, because less people want to come out here because it's so far away. So it's kind of like sometimes you have to think outside the box in those terms in order to kind of find safety in what would otherwise be considered more unsafe because it's further away or whatever. So what I think is more like dangerous is where people flirt on the edge of the PvP zone, because there's more people that are going between those two zones, because they'll flirt with safety. There's a blowout, so there's a medium spice field at least over there. Well, that could actually even be the large, but I doubt it is the large. Like, I'm dismissing it that it is the large, but you know, I have no idea. The only way I'd actually know is going out there. But according to my map, unless that's the one that's in, I don't think. Like, that could be the large, because actually there isn't that many spice fields this side of the map. According to actually my intel, actually there's not actually that many spice fields in the deep desert this week. Last week there were tons, and there were loads actually not even reported on my map, to be fair. So whether that's just one that hasn't been reported yet. But that doesn't look flat enough over there for it to be a large. And there's the large there. So there's the crater. It's like a crater. It's not really a crater. It's actually where the big sand worm will come up. The granddaddy, as they call them. The granddaddy worm, whose mouth is as big as the crater. I still haven't actually seen one in the game myself. I've seen other people with it and it coming up and stuff, but I've never actually in game myself seen it. Okay, so we'll scan around this, see if I can pick up a trail. During the weekend I'm a lot more cautious because I expect American players to be around, but I'm kind of outside of American, or the main American time zone, so I don't expect anyone, like my server's dead anyway, but when people are on it, it's usually less likely to be right now. There might be the odd Euro player on it like me, Normally during the weekend you'll notice me like scanning around first before I activate my wings and stuff, just to make sure that I'm not being followed or anything like that. Module about to break. Oh, that's my scanner. That's fine. As long as I can scan quickly before. I do actually have some wire with me and a welder, so I can repair it. I was actually going to put it in my storage box, but then thought I'd bring it with me just in case. Wow, not even one. What is going on today? Someone else out here treasure hunting. Yeah, we're not having a sterling day today. The weekend I was having quite a lot of luck. Today's the opposite. I've been to 2 fields and literally I got on the start of what could have been a trail, but I think it was just too close to an island, so it went dead after literally the one item. This one doesn't even have one, not even a trace. Be a little bit wider just in case. But normally you'll see one on the outside, kind of inside dune, and that'll start leading you off. If not, we'll go to that medium one. Might be able to get a hit off that. Might give us something. Something is definitely better than nothing. So far I've been to 2 large ones and not got anything substantial. We'll head to the medium. Not too far away. They all delayed those messages. It's like, no, load of messages came through at the same time. This isn't Harmony, no. This is one called Worm Site, and it's very quiet. I'm sure those are delayed messages. My message system might be going a bit weird. It is new. Not the excuse for it to go crazy, but... Okay, so we do have some hits, which is nice. That one in the very center will be just the markets telling us that this is obviously a spice field, which we obviously know anyway, but it marks it on your map. The ones that I'm interested in, though, are these ones here. Hear an helicopter. It's rare I can hear an helicopter. Maybe I can't. Let's have a look at this. there is a spot. There is definitely an helicopter here because I can hear it. It's just taking off. Although I can't see it and no helicopter anywhere, I can definitely hear one. Is it a friend or foe? Oh, you must be doing treasure hunting. That's probably why I've not found anything. Because I did say, didn't I? I said, "Is someone else out here treasure hunting?" I think that's what he's doing because there was another one that was just by there where he just landed. So I'm guessing he is, or they, because it may be a she as well. I guess they are actually doing some treasure hunting. So I'll leave them on that trail then, if they're doing that. It would explain why I can't seem to find any treasure trails. And I'm like, nobody, you can always find treasure trails on these areas I'm going to. Alright, well, it is 25 past 9 almost now in the UK. The streams I do normally run for 2 hours during the week. On a Monday, Wednesday and Friday, I will run them sometimes longer, just depending on what I'm up to in the game. On those days I do generally play GTA, which is why during the weekend I'll if I am going to play a game, it will swap between either GTA or Dune Awakening, just depending on what game is more exciting and what I'm doing more of that week. This week I am doing way more stuff in Dune Awakening, and I'm not too sure what the bonuses are yet for Grand Theft Auto, but I will find that out for tomorrow's stream, and you'll then all be aware because I will give you a rundown as to what the bonuses are for this week. Depending on what those bonuses are, depends how much I'll actually be in GTA. I have found the last couple of weeks the actual bonuses in GTA have been really bad, so it's kind of discouraged me from wanting to go into the game that much when I'm doing so much in this game, with obviously the base build and stuff like that. So I probably over the weekend will be doing Dune Awakening, but if there's something really exciting and it's worth doing, then we might go and do a bit of GTA and Dune Awakening. It just really depends what's going on. As for today's stream, I will be finishing that very shortly once we get back to the base, because I actually do need to do the gym tonight, and that's one of the reasons why I finished this stream and start the stream earlier on a Tuesday and went Thursday. If you do want to check out what the schedule is, you can go to Twitch and look at the schedule, which shows you the regular updated version of what my schedule is. Although the schedule may show on some of the other platforms as being set every day at either 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock, always look at Twitch for the source of truth, and that's sometimes because I might need to cancel, and I obviously can't go to every single place and change everything, so I just go to the one place on Twitch, and Twitch will always hold the source of truth as to whether or not I'm streaming that day. So yeah, I think I'll cut it now because I've got like people texting me, loads of other things going on. Obviously still need to get back to my base, but obviously I'll do that offline rather than you just watch me trying to get back. But if you have any questions at any point, do feel free to ask. Obviously I have got chats set up on all the platforms now that we're streaming to, so you can see both your messages and everyone, all the other people's messages live on chat, so you can chat with each other while asking me questions as well. I will be improving the chat over the next couple of weeks as well, because the chat that I do have has all sorts of things like leaderboards in that works across all the platforms, centralizes everything, gives everyone good stuff and everything else. So thank you very much for joining the stream. If you did like the content, do consider subscribing. It's completely free, doesn't cost anything. But let's also know when I stream next as well. If you want to know when I am streaming next live, you'll get a notification. But thanks very much, everyone, and great to speak to you, Adbeer, and also Super. Hope you have a great day for the rest of your day. Enjoy the time in Dune Awakening, and I hope to meet you guys again soon, and everyone else. Thanks very much, and good night, everyone.